Thanks for staying with us. Before we bring in our guests, I was going to take a few comments on our last topic, so we just wrap up on that.
Yes.
Maya?
I have Chigozie Magdom says, marriage is diverse like culture. If you copy a foreign culture, chances are that it will backfire. Those emulating the Western system will never find peace in Africa. People should marry who values them and vice versa.
Okay, so somebody said that it's so difficult finding yourself. And that person said marriage is good, but certainly not everyone will get married. Some people will marry 5 different people and never get it right.
So Purple Iris, sorry, were you going to read something else?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Purple Iris School says the problem with the discussion is that we hear more of failed marriages than ones that are working. Only bad news we hear. God's standard of marriage will always work. And I really love that comment because it is true. When a marriage is working, nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
It's only when it's down
bad
that we highlight it.
Okay, so moving on now to our next segment. So February 15th is the International Childhood Cancer Day, ICCD, and it is a global collaborative campaign that takes place every year to raise awareness about childhood cancer and to express support for children and adolescents with cancer, the survivors and their families also. As the world countdown to this year's commemoration, we have with us the Chief Operating Officer, the Dorcas Cancer Foundation, Korede Akindele, to tell us more about it. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
So we know, Dorcas Foundation is a friend of the house. We've been with you. You guys have been with us for many years, and we know the work you've done, especially children living with cancer. Tell us a bit about this year's theme and what it's about for raising awareness on children living with cancer.
All right, thank you so much, and then thank you for being with us for over the years. Okay, so this year the ICCD, the International Childhood Cancer Day, is focusing on inspiring action. Okay, so it's just basically to steer actions across the board for children, adolescents, and young adults, because that's our focus is now at the Dorcas Cancer Foundation. We've graduated just for children into adolescents and the older. So we're trying as much as possible to steer every individual in the society to be part of childhood cancer care, childhood cancer awareness, and childhood cancer survivor project. And that's what we are doing. And then we are doing it through something we call the Zero campaign, where everybody has opportunity to contribute their quota to the care of childhood cancer so that children do not have to face medical bills. Again, that's how we are sharing action from our own hand.
Okay.
So based on what we are doing.
Okay, so this childhood cancer, do you have specific ones, like the specific cancers that you attend to, or you attend to all cancers?
For us, we attend to every cancer between children, adolescents, and young adults.
Okay.
What kind of cancer is more prevalent amongst kids in connection?
So for kids, with part of where we are here, we see more of brain cancers.
Brain?
Yes, we see more of brain cancers here. We see more of leukemia. Leukemia is more prevalent in our part of the world here. We see more of retinoblastoma. We see more of, we are beginning to see more of a brain cancer called medulloblastoma. That's the cancer of the brain, epidemoma. We see more of Grimm's tumor. That's the cancer of the kidney. So these are prevalent cancers that happen among us here. But so much things that is important is picking the signs early and presenting these children, because today we talk about survivor because of cases that have been presented early and we've seen them come out of it. So
just based on what you've seen, and the work that you're doing, is there anything you think we're doing differently that's causing the prevalence of these cancers? Or is it just like, and you said you're saying that bring children early when you see signs. The thing is, when you're a child, you don't think that a child is cancer. You think it's malaria or typhoid at most, or a headache. Like, when do you take a child? When do you start suspecting that your child may be suffering from something as sinister as cancer?
Okay, so let me just break it into two. The first question is there's nothing anybody's doing wrong that has caused this. Because I've seen parents, I've seen mothers say, okay, in fact, I've even seen someone that told us, like, when I was pregnant with this child, I'm not even taking pure water. Do you understand? Like, she was so like, so what did I do wrong? No, there is nothing that you do wrong. It's just a genetic that went wrong and then caused this. So the most important in a child, the common sickness is malaria, typhoid, and everybody look based on our environment that we have. But when a child is sick, a child is sick. The child will let you know I'm sick, and you know in the child that the child is sick. So when you present cases, for example, let's look at cases of leukemia, which happen mostly like an infection. So we keep saying it that when you present these cases and it kept happening, you're coming out of hospital 6 months, 3 months, it's simple that you can tell your doctor, please, I'm not satisfied with this. If it is because Nigeria is a 3-cadre health system, primary, secondary and tertiary, so you could just say, can you refer me where I could see a specialist,
okay.
a pediatrician. Normally it is a pediatrician that should see children, but because the way the systems work, it might not be. So refer, it's your child. You know what you want, so just refer. Don't just say, okay, let's keep treating this kind of illness. So it's good to be safe. And then when you see the specialist and say, no, it's not this disease, it's just this. So attention is all, constant illness needs attention. That's just the way out of it.
Tell us about some of the success stories of your foundation, because I know that you've tried to help a lot of children, and how has it been with the success stories?
All right, so this year is our 10th year.
Congratulations.
We are on the 10th year, and then we sat down and looked at it that we've been able to, till today, we are almost 150 children that we've supported at the foundation.
Wow.
I mean, as at the last count,
150 children.
150 children
Well done.
from
Who survived?
No, that we've supported. And then from Survivor, we have, I mean, close to like 15 that we can talk, that has come through us, that we can, then but we have other survivors that we have bringing into our system. But our direct support from the beginning of our work till now, we are almost 150. And that for us is the land, because that's the core of our work. Yes, we now move it from not just treating children, we've now moved into early detection, survivorship, and afterlife, which is why we have created diverse program. And for example, our training program for early detection, which is the Look Again training program, that we are training to pick signs early. When you see this, and it's not just about picking signs, it's about referring to the appropriate place. And even after you refer, as the child start treatment, because one thing is to say, okay, go to this teaching hospital. So we try to ensure that after this child has been referred, we have an edict program that says, let treatment commence. Doctors, we will tell the hospital, you go ahead, we'll go and look for the money. But this must not stop. And that's what we are doing now. To pro bono, credit facility, to keep supporting these children. That's on the training. On the part of research, which is so important to do our work. We are as much as possible pushing research through our research program, publication of our papers. And today we've been partnering with organizations, international organizations, that are opening up pediatric cancer in Nigeria. I can say today the Global Childhood Cancer Conference is coming to Nigeria in 2026. I mean, courtesy of all this pushing out, all this work that. So it's been a lot, but the focal point of our work is the children. That is why we are here. So every other thing we are doing is to make sure that child gets the right treatment at the right time.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have with us our guest, Mr. Korede Akindele. We're talking about early detection. As you said, lots of parents are watching right now. They're saying, okay, how early is early? So you had shared a few success stories with us that you had a 22-year-old woman, young lady or woman, I would say is an adult, 18-year-olds, 2-year-old, 3-year. At what point should we begin to start suspecting where we need a tertiary intervention?
Okay, at a point where you are treating and you are not getting the result of what you want in your child. Everybody, okay, for example, we cite an example, as an adult, I mean, you can even sit in this studio and be having a headache, and then you just go ahead, like life has to go on. But for children, it's not like that. When your child is sick, it displays it, and then it doesn't fake it. Mommy, you touch the body, it's trying to take his hand. At the point where you are not getting the results you want in your child as a parent, that is when it is.
Okay.
Not until, okay, it now becomes, but most times we don't talk out like, oh no, I just want to manage this thing. At the point you are not getting the result. And that's why it's so important for you to pay attention to your child. You know your child. You know when this child plays. You know when this child is trying to stay hold to itself. something is wrong, and you are going to your doctor, you're treating, it's not getting better. And that's why it's important to see a pediatrician for children. They know what is right, they know something is wrong. For example, there is a child who is a survivor now, his name is Perfect. Yes, Perfect. He has retinoblastoma, that's the cancer of the eye. And how did the parents, they didn't know anything about cancer before. They were just at home, there was light, and suddenly there was power outage, and his eye started looking like a cat eye. You know, in the dark, you should have a red retina. So his parents were like, what's this? What's going on? So let's take this child to an eye center. But by the time they get to an eye center, luckily, when the test was run, the doctor told them, something is wrong here. This is cancer. Wow. So they take the child to the tertiary, he went through the treatment. Today, Perfect is a survivor, doing amazing. Back to school. And so because the parents rise up early, so it's more of the responsibility of the parents on the child.
So I like... Sorry, Mary. The kids with you, what's the survival that have come through you? What's the survival rate? Is it like 50-50 or 80-50?
Okay, for the system, I mean, in this part of the world, Nigeria and then sub-Saharan Africa and African countries, it's not like the developed country whereby we have 80 to 90%, but in this part of the world, we are still around 40-30% survival rate. Yes, there are some cancers like Wilmstroma, which is nephroblastoma, cancer of the kidney. Yes, there are high rate of it, like 60%. But for us, I mean, it's still, survivor in this part of the world is still doing around 40-30%.
So would you?
Due to several
So those are the factors I was going to ask before she asked was, given our health system, you know, and dwindling numbers of doctors, you know, of everyone traveling away, lack of infrastructure. So the story you usually hear is like, Nigeria is the last place you would want to have cancer. Like there's barely any intervention that you can get in Nigeria. But how has that worked for you? Because I believe that most of your the patients that you see get their treatment here in Nigeria. So how does that work?
Okay, yes. I mean, there has been underboarding on the health systems, but luckily, I think people that work in pediatric oncology in Nigeria, let me just use the word, they are God sent. They are passionate about the work they do, because it's not just about, just a glamour they want, but they just want to do the work. They just need the support to do their work. For example, in Lagos here, I know we have a dedicated center, and then we have a pediatric oncologist of different kind. I mean, TDCF alone is led by an oncologist who is a radiation oncologist, a pediatric radiation oncologist. So it's for us at our foundation, it helps us to say, I tell people we know what we are doing here, because we don't just refer before, when we see, we know. And so it's happening in the system, but we don't have the numbers where all the pediatric oncologists in Nigeria, they're like 70. And imagine 70 pediatric oncology dealing with over 200 million people. It's not enough. So the factors of the doctors dwindling are there, and that's why we're trying as much as possible to extend the knowledge across board. The knowledge to the pediatricians. No, they are not treating it, but they know it, and they could support these pediatric oncologists and say, you know what, these are things you could do. Just set this skin.
Does Doctors Foundation help children outside Lagos, or do people have to come into Lagos to get help from you?
No, we help people outside Lagos. All we need to do is to just make sure you're in the right place. Yes. That is it.
Wherever you are,
connect you to the right person. And most times this is not, people does not even need our financial support most times. It's just for them to say, please, you guys, who is the right place? And it might be even just a little support. So
it's not just about money you provide, you also provide counsel.
Yes,
to the right doctors.
The right doctors. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach us. So our work is not just about providing finance. It's holistic, everything about childhood cancer in Nigeria.
Yeah, but so I have two questions for you, right? First one is the fact that you guys offer aftercare services, because once after the whole care, surgery, everything, do you offer aftercare? Do they have medications that they have to take for a lifetime and all? And then secondly, I want to ask that so far? What are your challenges, and how have you overcome some of these your challenges?
Okay, so talking about the aftercare, okay, for survivors, okay, one of the key things that we do is, okay, you've treated the child is a survivor, he needs to go back to school.
He needs
To go back to school.
Okay.
And now that's another problem. So with that, we set up a project called Back to School.
Oh.
So for Back to School, all we do is we partner with schools. I mean, we have few schools and we are calling schools. People who have schools that just have a child with cancer, that survive cancer. I mean, so we partner with schools, some schools, and say, you know what, these children has gone to, just help us have this child tuition free. And then Dorcas tried to get partners to support every other things about the education. So to get the child back in school, we do as much as, even parents, they've sold everything, they've lost job, father has lost job. We try as much as possible and get, and some of the things we have even seen in this is, even what the father might even just need is somebody to just help them put their CV together. Because their mind has gone through a lot, they can't couple it together. So somebody just give them advice, you know what, just do like this, and they are back.
Get a job.
And so to back, so those are the after care. The child is a survivor. Back to school is to get them back to school.
Get the parents back.
An angel grant is to get the parents back on their feet. So it's we don't just stop and say we support the treatment, go, and we even try and even extend it even to their families and give them counselings and that's the work we are doing. Secondly, challenges. Wow, it's there. It's there. I mean, it's one of the challenges is you want to help as many children that you want to help, but your finance cannot help everybody. But what we try to do is we touch every life, even if we cannot take. We have program that takes over you, even if we cannot take everything 100%. About you 100%. TDCF, each time we go into the ward, we look at a child, what do you need? This is what we can do, at least to just relieve you. Okay, some of them stay strong. We are coming back. We'll get them. So that's amazing. The challenges are there.
Are there other sister foundations that do? Because sometimes it feels like there's so much work to be done, and there's not enough people. There are not many laborers to support this work. Because we know of cancer survivors, we know cancer treatments, but when it comes to child cancer, it's rather peculiar. So, do you work with other people to support the work you do?
Yeah, there are few foundations that do childhood cancer in Nigeria. But we have a lot of people interest. I mean, we have other people, like 2, 3, 4 people that we know do it. But I think in this part of the world, Lagos, TDCF, we have another people that, but TDCF, we have partners that also do it. Yeah. But because it's our call, it's what it has gone more than just working. It has become a calling for us. Yeah. This is what we want to do. This is what we wake up to every morning. And so that's why we go more than just one line. We find every other way to say every child must survive.
So your partners, are they just corporations? Are they just other NGOs? Or do you have like individuals who hear what you're doing and they're thinking, how can I participate and be a volunteer?
Okay, so our partners is everybody. From corporate to institutions, to religious centers, to individual. And this year, like I said at the beginning of our conversation, that our goal is to support every child that knocks on our door. And then we set up a project that we call the Zero Campaign.
The what?
Zero Campaign. What the Zero Campaign is doing, that everyone can at least give at least 1,000 naira to save a child. At one minimum, at least.
Okay. So interesting. So I mean, I appreciate the work Dorcas is doing. I think that's fantastic. Well, I mean, I know Nima has been on your I think she's part of your team, on your board, and she's been on this. She's been a serious advocate to help children who are living with cancer get some help. And I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on the show, just to show a bit of support for your foundation. But I would like to know, where's the future for Dorcas Foundation? Where do you hope to go in the next? I mean, I know you've helped some children, but what do you hope to see? Give us some numbers. Let Nigerians see that there are X amount of children who are in sick of help, in need of help, and there are a lot of children out there that could do with Nigeria's support.
Our key goal is we want childhood cancer to at least have a survival rate of 80 to 90%. And that's our goal. That every child that has cancer in Nigeria we can have a large pool of survivors the way the global world is and say these are a chunk of survivors.
So currently we're at about 40%.
Yeah, 40,
and
30%.
that's not a good
That's
figure.
not a good figure. And then for Dorcas Cancer Foundation, one day we have our own dedicated pediatric cancer center where children has the best care in the world.
We wish you
In
Do
this country.
kids, when you know, with a lot of adults, when they have cancer, it comes back again. With kids, is it like that or
relapse.
Yeah, there are relapses. There are
They
always
do
relapse. Yeah,
relapse.
we have a child that we are dealing with now that has relapse. Yeah, so it's relapse do happen, and everything needs attention.
What kind of cancer does the child have?
How do you do it? To be so close to vulnerable children, and so how and why do you do it?
I think that's my story. I think for me, like I said, 8 years ago, I began this journey 8 years ago. I just wanted to get a job. And I woke up into a place called the Dorcas Cancer Foundation. I don't know, I'm walking into destiny. I'm walking into life. And today, looking 8 years, it has changed me. Yes, you can cry when you're on your way home and say, jeez.
Yeah.
You can receive a call that touches your heart. But the goal is the child. There is something I tell myself every morning, because that child must live. So if I'm sitting here because I want somebody to know there's a child that needs to survive cancer.
So tell us a story about any of the children that pops up to your mind that you think that you'd like to share with us, a story of a particular child who you'd helped or maybe didn't make it or something.
Okay, I'm going to tell the two stories. I'll tell the good one and then the second one. So let me start from the Delta. That's what I use for negative stories. I have a child. There's a child, two child, Eliana, very beautiful, amazing child. I got to meet her in the process of the walk, and I was so close. She had leukemia, and that period was when I think there was strike, doctor something, resident doctor, and then she need to, for leukemia, you need transfusion. And I look at the way we get transfusion done for this girl. We will move from mainland to highland to get transfusion. Carried platelets on a bike. Then bike was still, I see the father, the mother, even my TDCF staff, everybody pushing through. I remember we had to carry the child from Lagos to Ogun State for transfusion, and she passed. So while we are standing and talking, the mother wanted to jump from the window of the hospital, like 3 stairs down. So somebody just looked back, and 3 people talking, we all just grabbed her. So for me, that moment was like, no, we have to do this.
Yeah.
Koyede, this is not a job, this is a calling. This is what you are called for. You are called to come and bear a burden here. And it's been awesome, it's been fun. Yeah, the second story is Samuel. Yeah, Samuel is a survivor. Samuel is in school, he's in SS3 now. He has Wilms tumor. And each time I look at Samuel, each time I look at Inyolua, then it gives me joy that this is the result of my work. This is Bolu sitting down here.
Yeah, you came with Bolu. Bolu is in the studio.
So, I mean, it gives the joy of the work that I'm doing. Samuel is back to school. He's on school scholarship. In fact, it was in a school before, we changed his school because I think it was facing stigmatization in one of the schools, and then we changed his school. And each time Samuel is talking, he will say, I'm grateful because I was given opportunity for education and my school is changed. They changed my school. I could mix with people, I could talk. He's going to graduate soon. And luckily, he wants to be a pediatric oncologist.
Of course.
And for us, we are set to support him till he become that pediatric oncologist.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Congratulations to you. I mean, that's very hard for me. I'm not sure anybody here is not crying. But I mean, I actually feel there's a shock with that when you hear you call out their names.
Yeah.
That means it's personal.
It's real.
Yeah.
These are human beings. And I really hope that more children get an opportunity to be helped
Yeah.
as you have done for others.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take.
Wow. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much for coming on our show today.
Thank you for giving us this privilege every
We always do.
year,
I mean,
every time. It means a lot to us at the
Yes.
foundation.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Nima is always on our case.
Yeah.
So just we have
Yeah.
to just bring about me. I know she's a major advocate for you guys, but definitely we'll do everything we can to support the work you do and see how we can also come and say hello to some of the children.
We're looking forward to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We're looking forward to that.
That is all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.